So today we're going to be looking at the properties of parallelograms. A parallelogram is any shape in which the opposite sides are parallel. So it can't draw perfectly on here, but it would look something like this, where the opposite sides are parallel to each other. The first property that we have is that opposite angles are congruent, meaning the same measure. So for example, this angle would be the same measure as that angle, and this angle would be the same measure as the one opposite it. The second property that we need to know is that consecutive angles, so meaning any angles that are next to each other, are supplementary, meaning that they add to 180 degrees. So for example, these two angle measures should add up to 180. These two angle measures should add to 180. Same thing at the top and the side, so those should both be 180 degrees. So we'll be using those to solve some problems, and then later in the video we'll be doing some more examples where we're solving for sides. And with solving for sides, I'm just going to erase some of this, so that way we can mark up the diagram with the sides as well. So let's just get back to the beginning. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, and all you need to know about the sides, the main property is that opposite sides are congruent. Are congruent, meaning equal. So whatever length this side is, it will be the same as this one, and these two sides, left and right, will also be the same. So now we can go and solve some problems. So if we need to find the measure of angle B, first we need to figure out the equation and solve for x. So your options are either the angles are congruent to each other, or they add to 180 degrees. So in this case, see how they're right next to each other? This one is obtuse, this one is acute. So they're definitely not the same. They're next to each other. Consecutive means they add up to 180. So your equation would be 15x plus 5x equals 180, which would give you 20x equals 180. When you divide by 20, you would get x equals 9. But they ask you to actually find the measure of angle B, which is this one. So B is 5 times x. So 5 times 9 would give you 45 degrees for angle B. Next problem, again, look at your relationship. It's either congruent or 180. In this case, they're opposite each other, right? They're directly across from each other on the diagonal, so that means that they're congruent. So our equation here would be to set them equal. So 10x equals 9x plus 10, which would give you x equals 10. But they ask us to actually solve for angle T. So the measure of angle T would be 10 times 10, which is 100 degrees. Looks like, again, in this case, we have opposite angles, so they are congruent to each other or equal to each other. So we would write 6x plus 9 equals negative 3 plus 8x. Subtract 8x from both sides, leaving you with negative 2x, and also subtract 9 from both sides, equals negative 12, which gives us x equals 6. But we need the measure of angle S. So angle S is negative 3 plus 8x. So negative 3 plus 8 times 6, that would be negative 3 plus 48, which overall should be 45 degrees. And our last one, we have to find measure of angle V. So here we have angles that are consecutive, right? They're next to each other, so they should add up to 180 degrees. So your equation, I'm going to just combine them in my head. I know you're good with algebra by now. is 21x minus 9 equals 180. So 21x equals 189. Divide by 21, and that should give you, I believe, 9. Yep, 9. So x is 9, but we need to find the measure of angle V, which it got cut off, but angle V is down here. So that's 11x minus 9. So that would be 11 times 9 minus 9, which is 99 minus 9, which overall is 90 degrees. This is a square, right? Okay, and we'll also do a couple where we're solving for the sides. These are really easy because always the opposite sides are just equal to each other. So your equation would be 2x plus 1 equals x plus 8, which gives you subtract x and subtract 1, you get x equals 7. And then we need to find TS. So TS is 2x plus 1. So 2 times 7 plus 1 would be 14 plus 1, or 15, and they don't give us a unit, so just 15 units. Feet, we don't really know. And one more like this. So we need to find UT, but first we need to set these opposite sides equal. So 2x minus 4 equals x plus 1, which would give you x equals 5. And then we'll plug it in to find UT is 5 plus 1, so that would just be 6 units. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, and have a great day.